Reincarnation. Explained by Samael Aun Weor. When death's hour arrives, the angel in charge of cutting the thread of existence attends the bedside of the dying. Thus, in that precise instant in which we exhale the last breath, the angel of death takes the soul out of the body and cuts with his scythe the silver cord. This cord is a certain mysterious, silver thread that connects the soul with the physical body. That magnetic cord can stretch or shrink itself infinitely. It is stated that a dream is nothing but a small death. It is known that during dreams the soul is not inside the body. The detached soul travels to remote distances, thus the silver thread elongates infinitely. Thanks to this thread the soul can return to its physical body in the moment of awakening after sleep. Dying people generally see the angel of death as an spectral figure dressed with funereal garments. It is clear that they undertake this extremely sinister figure only when they are executing their occupation. When they are not working, they assume beautiful figures like those of children, ladies, or venerable elders. The angels of death are not evil or perverse. They work only in accordance with the great law. Each person is born at his hour and dies exactly at his time. The souls of the dead recapitulate or repass in a detailed way the life that has just passed. This is a process that is always performed in a retrospective way. During that process the souls rerun their steps. That is to say, they live in those places where they previously lived. They repeat always the same deeds, the same events. When they revive those instants related with the first years of infancy, they look like children. It is obvious that once their life is repassed just as it happened, they then present themselves in front of the lords of karma, in front of the tribunals of the law, ready to be judged. This is what is meant by presenting oneself before the tribunals of God. The fate of each soul is the outcome of that judgment, of that verdict. Before returning into this world, some souls soar towards the heavenly regions, others enter the infernal worlds that are situated in the interior of the earth. Finally, other souls return immediately or medially to this valley of tears. This matter of returning into this world is usually extremely painful. Unfortunately, we have to always return. The angels of life connect the returning soul's silver thread to the spermatozoon that is going to execute the fecundation within the womb. The creature is gestated inside the womb. However, the returning soul only enters the body in that instant in which the child inhales his first air. To comprehend this is vital and indispensable. Therefore, before this life that we presently have, we not only had the immediately previous existence, but many other existences. Thus, each person is born in accordance with his own fate. Some souls are born among wealthy families with plenty of money, yet other souls come again or return among poor and miserable people. If we performed good in our past existence, then now we collect the reward. We return in homes where nothing is lacking for us. Thus we have many types of commodities. If we performed evil, if we squandered money, if we were penny pinchers, if we exploited the neighbor, if we committed the mistake of robbing or impoverishing others, if we used money in the wrong way, then it is evident that we have to return among miserable families, dressed with bodies of beggars, that is, unhappy, famished, and nutritionally deprived. Therefore, every soul collects the fruits of its own actions. It is clear that people do not remember their past lives because they have their consciousness asleep. If people had their consciousness awake, it is obvious that they would remember their former existences. One must make the effort of performing good, of performing charitable deeds, that is, dress the naked, give food to the famished, give drink to the thirsty, teach the one who does not know, etc. So that after death, in his future return, in his next return to the earth, he can be reborn in beautiful, lovely homes, among people of good customs, with much abundance, peace, and prosperity. Question: do angels of life and angels of death exist? Answer: I will gladly answer the question. The angels of death watch over the beds of dying people. They normally live in the fifth dimension, the astral world, which is that dimension that esotericism and occultism often mentions. The angels of life have childlike figures. They know a lot about esoteric medicine. They have power over the waters of existence, over the womb, over the amniotic liquid, over the creative organs, and they normally live within the fourth dimension, which is the ethereal world. There is no doubt that the angels of life work with women during pregnancy. They can open the whole womb and help in any birth. They are astonishing physicians. Indeed, they are in charge of connecting the thread of life with the fecundating spermatozoon. They are the secret agents who help any pregnant woman. Question: then, in accordance with what you are explaining to us, does predestination exist and can one change it? Answer: respectable lady, I will answer your question. It is clear that predestination exists. Indeed, predestination is the outcome of all our good and evil deeds from our former existences. If one robbed, now one will be robbed. If one killed, now one will be killed, etc. For instance, I will now to narrate for you a very interesting case. It so happened that a young man with 3 friends left on a trip from Mexico towards the United States. However, they had a tragic event. The car in which they were traveling was hit by another car, and in the accident there were other hits against other vehicles that were also circulating on the road. The accident left 2 dead and 2 wounded. When we investigated in the superior worlds, we evidenced what the law of predestination is. One of the dead, the first one who died of the 2, died instantaneously. He died in the precise moment of the collision. The other one suffered 3rd-degree burns, and after 20 days of agony, he exhaled his last breath. The third was the driver of the vehicle, who only had a dislocation of his arm and a small wound in his leg. The last, the 4th one, he only suffered a slight wound on his head. We especially investigated the first 3, and the result was the following. The one who died first had lived in Mexico during the epoch of Don Porfirio Diaz. It was clear that he was a very powerful, wealthy man, a great despotic landholder, who enjoyed running over the poor workers by launching his horses against the peasants on the roads, etc. The one who died with severe burns had committed the crime of pouring gasoline over the bodies of his brothers when they were sleeping in the night, and thereafter he lit them on fire. This was his most terrible crime of his past existence. Thus now he came to perish inside of a burning car, dying from 3rd-degree burns. Regarding the third one, he had made a young man suffer in his former existence. It so happened that along with a gang of young men, he had hit the other young man and dislocated his arm by pulling it with violence. Thus, now, during the accident, he received the consequence. Therefore, each one of them was born with his own fate. Nevertheless, fate can be modified by performing lots of charitable deeds, by dedicating oneself to exert the good, by practicing merciful deeds, etc. Therefore, the concrete fact that fate can also be modified is clarified, because, when an inferior law is transcended by a superior law, the superior law washes away the inferior law. Perform good deeds so that you can pay your debts.